What's going on, everybody? It's Tony. Welcome you back here to another episode of Into the Comiverse. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Right now, it's just me. Maybe we'll have a couple people pop on, to join in on this show. And I posted the link if anybody wants to hop on. You feel free to do so. I think I have like 6 at a time. But I'm going to hop into the chat real quick, and then we will do some community news, and then I'll show off some books I picked up this week, and then we'll hop right into today's topic, which is our love of Saturday morning cartoons. What were your favorite Saturday morning cartoons? As a kid, it wasn't nothing. We all loved to get our favorite breakfast cereal, sit down and watch cartoons on Saturday mornings, sometimes on Sunday as well. So let's go to the chat first off. We got Fanboy Prime saying, let's go. Wilbur says, yo, yo. Fanboy says he thought my smoke detector. He said I thought my smoke detector was going off. How you doing, KBDM? My brother from Lepanto, Mr. Timothy Williams. What's going on, brother? Mr. Brian LCS. What's going on, man? And Fanboy Prime says, does anybody remember Galaxy High? I don't. And then we got, I'm gonna say WVogs18 says, what's up? So yeah, originally I hadn't planned on doing a live show today because I'm having home internet issues, and then I've been using mobile hotspot stuff, and I used it all on my phone. And the interesting thing is being with Verizon is every device on the Verizon plan has its own mobile hotspot plan. So my wife has let me use her um, little iPad, tablet, whatever for tonight, so I can stream my show. And since she's in Springdale, Arkansas, going to a wedding, but probably starting tonight and going forward, I'll probably move the spotlight to a bi-weekly schedule to allot for the mobile hotspot time, so that way, you can use up 30 gigs pretty quick. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh yeah, if you want to join in, all you gotta do is up here right in the comments when it first started, I shared a link. I will go ahead and try to share it again. And y'all feel free to hop on, man. If I see y'all, I'll let y'all in. It's open forum as far as open invite, I mean. And see, for me growing up, my favorite cartoons were like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Voltron. I mean, the list goes on and on. But before we get to that, let's get to some community news first. So now, the only really bit of community news I have is that the nominations for the CBC Awards is over. And Brian did a list. I forgot what day he posted it, but he posted on Instagram. You could go to CBC, www.cbcawards.org, and you can see the list of everybody that has been nominated. I want to thank everybody for nominating me. My channel got nominated, and my Tony's Comic Spotlight also got nominated as well. Hold on a second. Welcome, man. Now, how do you pronounce your name?
WVogs18. You said it exactly correctly.
Okay, WVogs18. Well, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Great, man. I'm great. How are you?
I'm just chilling on a Saturday here in Arkansas.
I'm just chilling in North Carolina, but yeah, I can only stay for like 40 minutes, but I wanted to hop on because I saw you had a link and I was like, hey, why not?
Hey, I always try to have it to where, if you want to hop on and say hi or whatever you can, and, but yeah, I was just going over what community news I had, and I was just talking about the CBC Awards. And of course, we all know, I think it's, Brian can correct me in the comments, I believe it's August 25th is when they reveal the finalists. And then August 26th is when the voting starts, and you can, people can go to www.cbcawards.org to vote for your favorite YouTube content creators. And I wish the best of luck to everybody that got nominated. I think it's pretty awesome. That's all as far as community news I have. So how you doing?
Doing good. Just pre-recording. I've got a bunch of videos to pre-record because I do sports cards as well as comics. So I have like 5 things in front of me I need to pre-record. I was lazy all today, so I need to pre-record them after work tomorrow.
My biggest thing is I've got what I need filmed. I just have to edit it. Like I'm
Oh, I
doing
don't edit my videos, to be honest. Like I've told this people thousands of times. I don't edit it. If I mess up or I think I forget to say something, I'll cut the I'll stop the video and restart. I'm
I
not that tech. I'm 28, but I'm not that technologically advanced to know how to edit
I
it because I film with my phone.
yeah. Well, most of the time when I do edits, it's for the comic spotlight, and like the episode I'm fixing to do that's going to drop next Friday is for All Star Comics #3, and it's an anthology book, and it had like 12 parts to the comic. It was like 60 something pages long. So I did it. I did it in installments, and I'll edit it, and I'll put everything on there, and then I just put it all together. And
Yeah, exactly. Put it in the what is it called? Time slots or whatever they're called.
yeah, and I've realized after doing 30 of these things, this will be number 30. I really don't like doing anthology books because they eat up the most time. But I mean,
They are long.
I say that jokingly, but I've but going back and actually instead of just reading just the story that the book may just be talking about, I've actually
Mhm.
enjoyed reading all of them.
Yeah,
So I mean,
just putting on better lighting. This isn't even my room. It's a guest room. I'm in.
Brian said yes, sir. So apparently everything I said was correct.
Hi,
And
Brian.
Beckerman said, "Hey." Beckerman said, "Hey, Beckerman."
What
He
up,
said, "Hey,
Beckerman?
fellas."
Well, boy.
Yeah, I just figured I'd hop on real quick and just say, just hang out for a little bit, and
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'm
I'm
here
gonna,
for a little bit too. So, yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
gonna.
normally with. All I know is I'm normally with you on Durs on Sunday, and I think I'm going to be showing these 2 books on Durs as well. So everyone's seen it a few times around the community. These books I'm about to show.
Let me do this.
So I'm a new comic book collector. Just got in a few months ago. I don't know what took me so long. Probably because of my sports cards. But I picked this up, and I even messaged on that day. I messaged Durs. I was like, "Hey Durs, I bought this just because you've been raving about it."
Oh, Spawn. All right,
Yeah,
that's a badass cover too.
that's why I bought it. I just love the cover. I mainly I mainly do it buy comics just for the covers. I read the stories, but mainly for the covers. So I bought that Spawn. Pretty good read. Pretty good read. It was interesting. And then I bought this also for the cover.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
Yeah, it's 146. It's like the premise, if no one's read it, is like Captain America's in the hospital with this like thing they think is killing him, and the superheroes are all in the um, hospital praying and like doing stuff. And yeah, it's an okay read. I just, like I said, mainly for the cover. I'll probably get more books eventually. I have other books I've shown thousands of times on the they're next to me, but I think I've shown them on Durs. I've shown them everywhere. So yeah, I normally get 3 or 4 books a month just because I also do sports cards.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
I know
so
I've been thinking about buying some baseball cards this year because we got a guy. I believe anybody that follows the LA Dodgers. I don't know if he's playing for the Dodgers team itself or the farm systems, but there's a pitcher named Gavin Stone,
I
and
haven't heard his name.
but he graduated from the high school that I graduated here in Arkansas,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
he's
There's
been.
a card collector I'm friends with who also is from Arkansas. His name is Adam's Card Closet.
Hmm.
You'll have to check
I,
him out. He's from Arkansas.
but I've been thinking about grabbing a few of his rookie cards because I didn't know if they'd be in there or not. But
Why
hey,
not?
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna show off what little I have that I bought this week because I've actually trimmed my list down. I mean, I think I originally had like 15, 16 books a month in my file, and I cut it down to like 7. So I mean,
Wow.
a lot of them I went to get. I'm gonna pick up the trades, and more reasons than anyways, just because of bills. And it felt really odd for me not to buy an Amazing Spider-Man book this week. That Amazing Spider-Man 31 dropped, and
Yep.
I didn't spend the $10 on it to get it, and it felt kind of odd for me not to buy an ASM because the 37, 36 years I've been collecting, I've always bought ASM, but I decided to move it to trade paperbacks. But
Yeah, I need to
real
get
quick,
some new books eventually. I just don't know when. What's up, Kenneth?
hey Kenneth. But basically, my new comic book days, as far as new books go, is I bought the new Gunslinger,
That's a cool cover. I like that.
and that's the only new book I bought this week. The rest
I
of them
need
are
to
back
buy some new
issues.
comics. I just like the older ones.
Well, I got 4 back issues. A couple of them are relatively new. I've been trying to track down the cover A for the new Red Sonja series. Have not been able to do it, but I did see this little ash can,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
that cover was the reason why I wanted the book to begin with. So I mean,
Yeah.
I believe it was a Shannon Mare cover. So I mean, I didn't even know they made an ash can, so I went ahead and picked it up. And then I got this Scorch number 20 because I needed it for the last of the connecting variants for this. They did like a set of connecting variants for all 4 of the books that month, and
Yeah.
the image is pretty cool. And then I actually got the true back issues. I got X-Men 173, which this was like part 2 of a story where I believe, y'all can correct me wrong if I'm in the comments, but I believe this took place right after the Wolverine Limited series, and Wolverine was going to get married to Mariko in Japan. And then this, when something happened to the team, and Wolverine and their new member Rogue decides to go figure out what's going on. And the last one I bought, oddly enough, I don't understand why it's so cheap, but it is. I got the first issue of Green Arrow from 1987.
Oh wow, that's
And
cool.
what is unique about this, and this is going to be my gripe of the week, is okay. So last week I did the spotlight on More Fun Comics number 73, which is the first appearance of Green Arrow and Aquaman from 1941. Okay, so dude's been around for what, since the 40s.
Yep.
This is the first ongoing series that Green Arrow ever had, and it was released in 1987. And
What
I
took
and
them
my
so
thought
long?
exactly that was my thought process is why did it take him so long for Green Arrow to get his own book? Now I know they did a 4 issue limited series in '83, but I was like,
That's
why did it take so long
that's
for Green?
ridiculous because like yes, I get it. You have Superman, you have Batman. Like I'm new, but like of course I know you have Batman, Superman, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. Dude, Green Arrow is one of the most underrated heroes. I like Green
Yeah.
Arrow. I think Green
Uh,
Arrow actually. No, he's not on that cover. Hawkeye is. I don't have a Green Arrow.
Beckerman, I don't know if this is the Longbow Hunters or not. I don't believe it is. All I know is this is the first issue from 1987.
That's nice.
For a second, I thought it was Quiver, and then I realized I was wrong on that. That's like either the next series or the series after that Kevin Smith did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, but yeah, my thought process was like, hell, by the '60s, he should have had at least one ongoing series.
Yeah,
Now
exactly right.
I know that for what was it, the '60s or '70s for a little while, he was in the Green Lantern books where they did like Green Lantern / Green Arrow, and it was like Neil Adams
Yeah.
and who else was it? I want to say Denny O'Neil did it too, but I may be wrong.
No
Um,
idea. I'm sorry. I'm not much up.
because well, that one iconic, I believe it was issue 76, where it shows Green Arrow blowing shooting an arrow through the charger, the lantern charger that Green Lantern uses to charge his ring.
Yeah.
And I know that's an iconic cover. I wish I had some pictures to show, but And then of course the ones where you find out that Speedy's a drug addict. That all went together. Beckerman says O'Neill and Adams is correct. But yeah, I just thought it was odd. As much as I loved the Arrow show, I never collected the Green Arrow comics.
I heard the show was great.
I loved it. I mean, I
You
know
know what show
later
I
on.
never watched? The show
What's
I
that?
kind of regret not watching was oh no, I've heard mixed reviews. Is oh god, it was CW and it was the Batman one when he was a kid.
Gotham.
Yeah, I heard that was a good show.
Yeah, that actually was pretty decent. I watched the first few seasons of that.
I heard it was decent.
But yeah, that was more of a pre-Batman show.
Yeah, and I'm a Batman fan, so I'd probably be like, eh. Yeah, I have a few Batman books. I'm a Batman fan, even though I just started collecting. Like I said, I have like three or four Batman books.
Now, Beckerman, this is actually Beckerman wanted me to hold it back up. This is actually volume 2, but they credited it as the first ongoing series. Volume 1 was the 4-issue limited series that came out in 1983.
Gotcha.
If I'm going by Key Collector, so I guess you can take it for what it is. But yeah, because when I started looking into it, when I did the trivia and it said that it didn't get, when I was looking at the trivia and it said Green Arrow didn't get his first series in 1987, I went, what?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's crazy though.
Of course, it took me a long time to start watching Arrow because I was so used to Smallville, and I can't remember the guy that played him, but Oliver Queen was in Smallville in the later
Yeah,
episodes,
that's
and I got
another
used to.
show. That's another show I wish I watched.
I'd gotten used to Oliver from there, and then I guess my little mind couldn't contemplate they'd gotten somebody else for the Arrow show, and then when it's one of those things that when you finally do watch it, you're like, what the hell, man? What have I been missing? Because
Yeah,
season 2 of the Arrow show when they brought Deathstroke into it was amazing.
I bet.
But
Deathstroke's awesome.
yeah, and I can't think of the name of the guy. I want to say the guy that played him in the TV show, his name was Manu Bennett. So I mean, but he did really awesome. So I really did enjoy that one. So
Yeah, I didn't watch many Marvel shows really. I'm a sports fan, so I literally just watch sports.
so I guess we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and just move into tonight's show. Yeah. He says, "Yep, this is volume 2. Technically, volume 3 takes place directly after the events of the Longbow Hunters." Okay, but I'm gonna bore everybody a minute. Since we're on the concept of Saturday morning cartoons,
Oh man,
I'm gonna read this because I thought this was you. Well, actually, hell, I don't need to read this. Basically, they says that the whole concept of Saturday morning cartoons is stuff that we already know. It got real popular around the '60s, and of course, that was their time for for advertisers and stuff to, they put all their syndicated shows on in the morning. Kids were going to be watching. They had like toy people and cereal, companies. They would advertise their products, and that basically was the way. Hey, kids, we got product. Check it out. Go tell your parents to buy our stuff. You know, but us kids, man, we enjoyed the cartoons. So I mean,
oh yeah, I'm a '90s kid, but I love old cartoons.
I kind of wish they still did Saturday morning cartoons, but I kind of wonder what it'd be like now.
It'd be crazy weird, I tell you what.
But I know it'd be drastically different than what we're used to, because back in I would say in the '60s and '70s, I would say that Hanna-Barbera probably owned Saturday mornings.
You know what's
With all
crazy
their
is I'm a '90s kid, but I love watching on YouTube old Hanna-Barbera stuff. I would watch Pink
oh yeah,
Panther. I would watch stuff like that. Pink Panther, like, dude, like Inspector, and then you got Anna and Aardvark. Like, the fun thing is, like, when I was getting ready for school, I watched Boomerang, and it was the 2000s, and they would show Wacky Races, Penelope Pit Stop, Scooby Doo, Pink Panther, Looney Tunes. Like, my dad's favorite cartoon, my dad's 62 years old,
Mhm.
loves Looney Tunes, and I
Oh yeah.
love watching the reruns of Looney Tunes. I don't care if it came out in the 40s. I'm 28 and I love Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah. I think that's safe to say that everybody loves Looney Tunes.
Oh
Even
yeah,
grow.
it's the staple. I think personally, it's one of the staples of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. And yeah, I goes. I grew up watching Looney Tunes as well, and Hong Kong Fooey. I mean,
Oh, dude, yep. I used to watch replays of that Hong Kong Fooey. You
we lit.
got. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we just when my youngest daughter was real little, we
Hmm.
actually bought her the DVD box set of Hong Kong Fooey,
Oh, that's awesome.
and
Yeah, like I said,
she wore that thing out.
I'm 28. I'm 28, but I've got an old soul, so I love those old shows. And then you got Top Cat, you had Tom and Jerry, you had um oh gosh. Who is the singing dog? I forgot what his name is. The what? Oh my darling.
Oh my God,
Huckleberry
was it
Hound.
Huckleberry Hound? Yeah.
And then you have Yogi Bear. You have, yeah, dude, I love Boomerang. Love Boomerang. As
Wellbore
you can
says,
tell, I love Saturday morning
uh,
cartoons.
oh yeah, Wellbore says I grew up without most of the Saturday morning cartoons that you in the U.S. had. I would have to go to my cousin's or friend's house to watch cable, which is where I could watch the American networks.
Yeah.
And then Cali Comics mentions cartoon.
Yep.
Beckerman says he was a big Hong Kong Fooey
Hong
fan.
Kong Fooey was sick.
Danger Mouse.
Don't remember Danger Mouse, unfortunately. Like I
Beckerman
said,
says he hit send as soon as I said Hong Kong Fooey.
dude,
KDM
I think
says Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo is a classic. Yeah, Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner. Yeah,
Yep.
literally. Like I
Yeah, I
said,
mean,
young. I'm a young guy, but I'm an old soul, so I love those old cartoons.
and I was gonna say, and a lot of, and even some of the other shows that we mentioned, whether it be Hanna Barbera or whatever, was like the Super Friends, the Challenge of the Super Friends, and there were
Yep,
like many different iterations of that. You know, one they had, I can't, was it Marv and Wendy, and then they had the twins,
the Wonder Twins.
the Wonder Twins with Gleek.
I never watched the rerun of that show, but I know a lot of old Hanna Barbera shows. I grew
But
up with like I grew up with the later Hanna Barbera stuff, like the Gendy Tartakovsky stuff, like Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Just like I'm a '90s kid, but like I said, I love the old stuff. Like, shoot, you know
Ag-
what was on the other night? It was owned by Adult Swim, but I think it was Hanna Barbera beginning at the beginning. Did you ever watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
every once in a while, I did.
That was reruns on Adult Swim last night. I was like, man, this I forgot how funny it was.
Callie, you're gonna have
Tex
to remind me
Avery, a
about
little
Tex
bit.
Avery because
I've
I'm
heard
trying
the
to remember
name.
Tex Avery.
You know what else I never watched reruns of? I wish I did, and I wish I was born in the '60s so I lived through this. But I know reruns is Johnny Quest,
Oh yeah,
Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Smurfs, the Snorks. Yeah, like I said, I have memories of sports and like entertainment like crazy. Pirates
Mike
of the
mentions the
Dark
Pirates of Darkwater, but I'm going
Never
to
heard of
go
it.
back. It was actually pretty good. I'm going to go back to aggressive relaxing because he's got the most important question probably of the night. And it says, I just got here. The question is, what cartoon character you would want to date?
Oh wow. Um, she's from a movie, but it wasn't. It was a cartoon movie. I'm gonna get a lot of laughs out of this one. Jessica Rabbit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
who wouldn't? Like, dude, freaking, you see Roger Rabbit all giddy, like, dude. Like, come on, man. Jessica Rabbit, bro. Gotta have Jessica Rabbit. Love Jessica Rabbit.
I don't know who I'd have to answer. My first go to answer would be Daphne, but I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's a
that would
given.
be
I think
my
that's a given.
second go to. It would probably go Jessica Rabbit, Daphne, and then Penelope Pitstop.
Oh yeah.
Smurfs, Flintstones. Hey, you know what? I said I had to go early. I'm having way too much fun, Tony. I really do appreciate you having me on, man. This is so
Hey,
much
no
fun.
problem, man. Oh,
I'll hop
okay.
on when I can.
Mike says Tex Avery Space Ranger. Now I'm not familiar with that. Let's see, I'm learning something
I
new.
didn't know that one either. You know what was a weird, funny knockoff show, like a spinoff? Do you remember Duck Dodgers
Yep,
in the what was it, 24th century,
twenty
whatever?
fourth and a
And
half
some
century or 23rd and a half century or
yeah, and
something
it
like
was
that.
Porky Pig was this like man, that show was
Now
so fun.
Mike also mentioned Conan, and I don't I don't remember there being a Conan cartoon.
I wouldn't know.
For every thousand ones I'd probably remember, there are some I wouldn't. And then of course, let's see, Callie says Dexter's mom has
Oh
got
gosh.
it going on.
You know who was yeah. I thought he was gonna say cow and chicken's mom. I was like, oh no.
Oh, and hey, Matt from Comics by the Bay, how you doing? And hi, Digger Jim.
Hey Digger.
But Animaniacs, the nurse,
Oh, I'm
the nurse.
yes. Hello, nurse. Yeah.
My
Oh, I never
wife,
forget. Dude,
my
you know what?
wife is my
Oh,
wife's
go
an
ahead.
actual. She's my wife is an LPN, and even after 23 years of marriage, every once in a while I look at her and go, "Hello, nurse."
Hello, nurse. No, I do that all the time. You know what else? Speaking of like Animaniacs and Steven Spielberg, you know what is a very good underrated show? I never watched it, of course. Like I said a million times, I've watched reruns. Is Freakazoid.
No, no, no. I've heard of that. I remember it, but
It just was so funny. But you know what's crazy is I remember when Boomerang went kind of dark-ish when they were bought by Cartoon Network when they had the original Teen Titans, not the Teen Titans Go of nowadays,
oh
but
yeah.
like Teen Titans original. Man,
Hmm.
that show was dark, but it was really good. And I
And
think
what
they
was the
also
name?
had the Batman animated series, if I'm not wrong.
I believe I used to watch the original Titans with my oldest daughter, and then
That
later
was a
on with
good
my
show.
youngest daughter. And one of the things I always thought was interesting was the intro to the Teen Titans, because you know
Oh,
that
it was
there was a Japanese band, and I believe the name of the band was Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, and
it was, yeah.
they did the intro. In some episodes it was in English, and in some episodes it'd be in Japanese.
Yeah, dude, no, it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. The original Titans were awesome. I loved it. You know what show I never watched on Cartoon Network though later on and everyone's like, "Oh, you missed a great show," was Batman Brave and the Bold. I watched
I never watched it
seldomly.
either.
I was but the time when that came out was like the mid 2000s like 2008. I was busy watching I may get fun of, but I know people who like it somewhat. Is Star Wars: The Clone Wars was a good
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
I love
I agree. I've only recently went back and started watching Clone Wars, and yeah, I actually did get a kick out of it. Now,
both
but
Clone Wars were good. I just
me growing up, dude, I could go through a laundry list of stuff where it be, the popular shows like He Man, GI Joe, Transformers, Voltron, Thundercats, Mask,
yeah.
stuff like that, Smurfs, and then I watched obscure, well, what people would call obscure now, that would be like there was a show called Turbo Teen that came
Okay.
out. It was one season. Turbo Teen. Hold on, let me stop real quick. Callie's got trivia. Says who wrote the Spider-Man Adventures theme song? Now, if you're talking about the '90s Spider-Man, that was Joe Perry, wasn't it? think it was Joe Perry or Errol
No
Simmons.
idea. Don't ask me.
I bel
No idea.
but yeah, Turbo Teen was a cartoon about this guy. He's driving his car and he crashes into this wall, this lab, and there's like some kind of scientific accident, and it fused him with his car. And when I think it was like if he got hot, he
Oh
turned
yeah,
into
I
his
know what you're
car.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and if he got cold, he turned back to human. There was that. I mean, hell, at one point in time, dude, they had cartoons for Alf, the Karate Kid. I believe Mr. T had his own cartoon.
Yep.
Uh, Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos. There was Rambo. Rambo had his own cartoon. A lot of people.
There's
I mean,
cartoons for everything.
I love Voltron. My favorite form of Voltron is the Lions. But I also remember when they had the cars. They had a car Voltron too, and those weren't as popular as the Lions were. And then, like I said, the list goes on and on. I mean, they had a Pac-Man cartoon, and
Yeah,
so I
there was a
mean,
lot of crazy cartoons back then. Spoon.
and then oh yeah, I forgot. Comic Captain Collectibles, Spider Man and His Amazing Friends. I forgot. I love that show. And Callie says dead on. Oh yeah, and Matt from Comics by the Bay mentioned the Tick.
Oh, the Tick. Yep.
And somebody else, I'm gonna bring it up. Um, Evil mentioned Wildcats and Spawn. Now the Spawn cartoon was not on regular TV. That was on HBO. But
I
it was
never watched
amazing.
it.
Dude, it lasted 3 seasons, and when you watch it, there's a reason why it was on HBO.
I
I
bet.
mean, every episode, I honestly believe it's probably the most faithful adaptation of the comic. Every episode began with Todd at the beginning talking a little bit, and then it would go into the episode. And you still had it. It was more comic accurate. I believe it was. I mean, you still had Chapel from Youngblood being the guy that was responsible for killing Al Simmons. Spoiler alert if nobody's read the comics. But yeah, that there was a reason why that one came on HBO. They took full advantage of it. And here's another one that Mike mentioned and I've forgotten about. Captain N. It was
Never heard of
Captain
it.
N, the game master, I think. He basically he teamed up with some of the Nintendo characters, and he had like a light gun, and I believe his belt buckle was the NES controller. It's been a long time, but like I know he'd team up with like Simon Belmont would show up. I believe Mega Man was on there, and a few others, and they would fight Mother Brain. And
Hmm.
and then Hulk Hogan. Oh yeah, I forgot Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, and the
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yep.
Oh, Inspector Gadget. How can we
Oh
forget
yeah.
Inspector Gadget?
I remember Inspector Gadget. Yep. I remember that
Now,
show. Yep.
Mike mentions the MTV Spider-Man series. Mike, I'm gonna
You
be
know what
honest with
was a
you.
weird
I never
show? I
watched it
think it.
much.
I can't remember if it was Disney. I don't think it was Boomerang or Cartoon Network, but I can't remember what it was called. No, can't remember. It's just
Mike,
in
I
my head.
don't know. I don't know if the Tick is on any streaming service right now.
No idea.
Frank's BS mentions the Centurions, and I agree with the Centurions. I do remember that, and I'm gonna raise you. I'm gonna take Centurions and raise you Silverhawks because I forgot about Silverhawks.
Mhm.
And then my buddy Tim says, still remember when I was a kid in like 81 or 82, one of the local Memphis stations would play Scooby Doo, followed by reruns of Wonder Woman, The Incredible Hulk, and Buck Rogers every afternoon.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm trying to scroll through the chats.
No, you're
I know
good.
I'm probably skipping people. Yeah, Mike said it is the Game Master. We did mention Centurions. Now, Mike says, Matt, I believe he's saying that maybe the Tick is on Prime,
Hmm.
but and then Mike also mentioned that Neil Patrick Harris voiced Peter Parker on the
I
MTV
forgot
animated
that.
show. And see, I don't remember there being a Bucky O'Hare cartoon. I know he was in the video games, but I didn't know that he had a cartoon. And I think I only saw the pilot for Wildcats. I don't think I ever actually seen the show on TV.
Mm.
But yeah, man. I mean, just going through talking about all these old shows. Uh, I love the fact that you mentioned Snorks. I didn't know when I was thinking about it. I didn't know if anybody would even remember Snorks or the
I
Gummy
didn't. I just
Bears.
remember watching reruns on TV because I'm seeing them.
AB, ABC used to have a TV show called The Littles, and that's I don't remember. I've forgotten about half of it. It was basically these little people, and they would go on their little adventures. Of course, the Care Bears.
Yeah,
Care Bears had a show. The original My Little Pony, they had a show. Um, but yeah, I mean,
tons.
E-Man mentioned something about me talking about the theme songs, but
I grew up with some really interesting Saturday morning cartoons. Like on, I watched Disney as a kid also. So like the show Recess, and then there was um Kim Possible. There was like so many animated shows. It was crazy.
Frank's BS says he has a stuffed snort still. That is awesome.
That's cool.
You need to show that on your show. Uh, you collect what? Frank's BS and Scott S Von 82's got a new weekly show, a bi-weekly show on Wednesdays called "You Collect What." They just did the first episode
Dude,
last
I'll
week
have
on
to hit him.
Transformers.
I need to hit him up because I have a lot of bobbleheads.
I think I don't remember what they're doing next week. It's either Marvel Legends or Funko Pops. I don't remember which one it is.
I only have one Funko. I need
I've
more.
got two big Funko Pops of like a Star Wars, and yeah, I got a Star Wars and a Mandalorian. That's all I got. I thought I was going to jump down that rabbit hole, and I bought like 6 or 7, and then I realized I didn't want them, so I traded them in and got a CGC 9.4 New Mutants #1 autographed by Bob McLeod. So,
Nice. Yeah.
but I mean, if people like Funko Pops, man,
Did
that's
you see?
awesome. I mean,
I
they're
don't.
pretty cool.
I was on his stream, but did you see Glenn got from something Wong sent him a sideshow collectible? I think it was sideshow collectible of Superman. Man,
Oh wow.
beautiful, this big.
Matt says there's nothing wrong with only having one Funko.
It's a
And
baseball player. I do want a Batman one though. But everyone I see is like the Batman, Robert Pattinson. I need to find like Christian Bale or the original Batman. What's up, Brian?
Brian says he's cooking dinner and lurking.
What you making, Brian?
Okay, Frank said next week is Funko Pops, and the week after that is Fanatics, and then the week after that is Gemstones.
Interesting. I'll have to hit him up when he does bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see those giant Funkos or 300. Wow.
Or 300. Now, like I said, honestly, I mean, if anybody wants to collect Funkos, I think it's awesome. I don't think there's nothing wrong. If you find something you like, go out and get it. I mean, that's what any hobby's for, whether it be Funkos or sports cards or comics or whatever. I mean, I've got toys, games. I collect old NES games. I collect vinyl, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
My wife used to collect collector Barbies. She's got like 2 big old shelves of collector Barbies in the living room. So I mean,
Geez, those are probably worth a lot.
yeah, some of them actually are. I know I talked to Scott. I'd mentioned something about, I think their third episode, they were trying to find like people that collect one particular person. And first I mentioned Jason Voorhees because I got a few figures in the movies and whatnot. And then I mentioned Kiss because Kiss is probably the biggest thing. I was like, technically that's more of a characters and not a character because I've got vinyl, CDs, cassettes, DVDs. I've got comics, toys of Kiss. I've been a
What
Kiss
have
fan
you?
since I
Yeah,
was 5 years old.
that's
I
awesome.
mean, I've even got the Marvel Super Special #1 that I got a couple years ago with the Kiss blood. So I mean,
That's awesome.
but back to what we were talking about as far as okay, Mike said visionaries, and yes, yeah, visionaries. I forgot about visionaries. I mentioned Silverhawks. I may have gotten Silverhawks confused with visionaries because Silverhawks was a car. I know Silverhawks was a Marvel cartoon or a Marvel comic, I'm now I'm
Mhm.
wondering, but I believe there was a cartoon of Silverhawks as well. And oh, and Wellbore says Jim and the Holograms. Yes, I remember. I actually watched Jim, and I didn't have a sister, so I mean. And then Frank's BS says thanks for the shout out. No problem. And the problem is that keep making Funko Pops about cartoons from the '80s. I have a hard time not buying them. Exactly.
Mhm.
Now I ain't gonna say there hasn't been Funko Pops that I wouldn't mind having because there are a few that I have bought or wanted to buy. Excuse me. But
Yeah.
okay. Tim says my buddy Tim says anybody remember the Droids and Ewoks cartoons on Saturday mornings? Yes.
No.
Now could I tell you what they're about? No. I know there was an Ewok cartoon. I know there was a Droids. I know there used to be a cereal called C3POs. I used to eat it. I remember it was basically,
The only cartoons of Star Wars that I remember in my lifetime were both Clone Wars, the 2005 Clone Wars and the 2008 Clone Wars. One was drawn, one was, I think, like cartoon CGI. The drawn one was actually very underrated. If anybody's not seen it,
yeah. Mike says that he watched both of them. Tim, I think he's referring to the Star Wars cartoons. And Frank says, "Wow, that's a lot of Kiss." Yeah, dude. Like I said, I've been a fan since I was 5 years old. I've got all their studio albums on CD, and for the most part, almost all of them on vinyl.
wow,
I mean, I've got stuff. I've actually got the original Wicked Lester CD that nobody probably knows much about, but it was the original Wicked Lester album with the 5 studio demos that Kiss did when they got their deal because Wicked Lester was the band that Gene and Paul were in, and then they fired the other members and started Kiss. So I mean,
nice.
and that CD is rare, very rare. But when you listen to it, you're like, oh, thank God they fired the band and rebuilt it as Kiss because it's not the best thing in the world. Frank also says that yes, Silverhawks was a cartoon. I thought it was, and yes, Wellbore. There were two Ewok movies. One of them was called The Battle for Endor, and I don't remember what the other one was called. I think it was called. I don't remember what it was called. And Tim Williams says that he owns both of them as well as Mike. He said he actually
Mhm.
loved the Ewok movies. Tim says that he owns them.
Wow.
Oh, My Pet Monster. Yeah, there was a TV show called My Pet Monster, and I could not tell you what it's about. But I remember the toy was real big. It was like a furry toy that had like cuffs, and it was pretty cool. What's going on, Durs?
What's up, Durs?
Yeah, I know Durs and DVH were busy tonight doing things, and so they weren't going to be able to be in the show.
How
Oh yeah,
long do
and
you
Frank,
run this? How long do you run this show normally for?
I usually try to run about an hour because I don't. Oh, who is it? I think it's Freaky Louie starts at 7. There's another guy that starts at 7. Now the Transformers episode when I did it ran for about almost an hour and a half.
Dude, no, I
But
love this theme. Whenever I see a theme I like, I'll definitely jump on. I love this theme. Sorry, morning cartoons.
oh, Mike said Caravan of Courage was the name of the other one because I thought it was interesting that in Return of the Jedi that the Ewoks had their own little language, and Mike and Tim, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, there was one of them where these two kids from Earth showed up. They were like marooned on the Ewok world, and like I said, I don't remember what happened to them, but the Ewoks, some of the Ewoks actually, in my mind anyway, some of the Ewoks actually talked, but that might just be me wishful thinking. I don't, like I said, it's been 30, 40 years since I've watched these movies. So, but and he said he was going to, Mike said he was going to hop on the live, but his brother ended up taking a nap. Mike, I hope your brother's doing well. I know he had
Yes.
I hope he's still recovering well and everything. Oh, he's okay. He says for humans and not from Earth. See, that tells you how long it's been since I watched it. So, I mean, I was completely wrong. For some reason, I thought they were from Earth. But yeah, yeah. Like I said, I for most of us, Saturday morning cartoons are ingrained into our childhoods. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah.
we remember growing up, whether your mom cooked breakfast or not, or filled you a bowl of your favorite breakfast cereal, whether it be C3POs or Mr. T's or Pac-Man. Pac-Man had its own cereal for a little while. There was actually the Nintendo cereal system. And for the most part, most of these cereals were basically rebrands of some other cereal, whether it be like a knockoff of Fruity Pebbles or um,
Yeah.
Lucky Charms or whatnot. But we didn't care. We were kids. We still, shit, we ate that stuff and we enjoyed it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mike says the main character is two kids, a teen boy and a little girl. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember much about those two movies at all. I'm gonna have to see if I can get my buddy Tim to let me borrow them so I can watch them again. I've got his Poison DVD. I still hadn't watched it, and I've had it for a month. But yeah, yeah. Wilbur says the family was, and then I don't know what else he was gonna say, and I think I may have mentioned. Hopefully, I mentioned everybody in the chat.
Evil. I did watch part of that cartoon. I watched the first two episodes. It's pretty good. I never really got into it, but it is Gendy Tartakovsky, and I like him. He's a genius. He created Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, whatever.
Mike says he still watches cartoons to this day. Yes, I do too. I've got I've got I've got all the Transformers and GI Joe. I know for sure, and I've got
Unicorn
the X
Warriors
Men.
Eternal is pretty darn good though. Yeah, it's a new show.
And then KBDM says we wanted the cereal box. We didn't care about the cereal. That is true too. He said, "Yep, correct. Need to finish."
I do need to
Yeah.
finish. I don't know when I'm gonna watch it, but yeah.
Now I
Hey
don't know
Mike,
if it was.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if it was a cartoon or not, and feel free in the comments to correct me. But I never got to watch it. But I know there was Robotech. Was Robotech a cartoon?
No idea. Mike, did
I,
you ever watch also did you watch by Gendy Tartakovsky who created that show? Did you ever watch Primal? I heard that was a good show.
yeah, he says Primal was also done by Jindy.
Yep, Mike knows what I'm talking about. Yep. I've heard Primal's good too.
Wilbur said the family crashed on Endor. That's what he meant to say.
Ah.
Okay, Wilbur says yep, and Wilbur and Mike both said yep, Robotech. Because I mentioned in the in the Transformers episode, all the Transformers were basically from Diaclone or Microchange, except for two. One of them was from Shockwave was from a company called Toyco in
Mhm.
Japan, and it was based off of the Astro Magnum figure. And the original Jetfire was, I don't know what the name of it was, a Valkyrie jet or something like that from Robotech, and they had to get permission to, or they had to buy the rights or whatever to use those two characters. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why, you know I always thought it was unique in the Transformers cartoon. He was Skyfire, but in the comics he was Jetfire. And
Yeah, that is
yeah,
interesting.
and Mike mentioned GoBots, the challenge of the GoBots. I love that show. I know Randall from Clerks refers to them as the Kmart Transformers, but I love the GoBots. And then Brave Star. Yes, I remember Brave Star. There used to be an old cartoon. I don't remember what channel it was on, but there used to be one called the Cowboys from Moo Mesa. And then there was the Biker. I believe there was a Biker Mice from Mars cartoon. I may be wrong.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
there used to actually be a show, a cartoon, and I want to say Captain was in the name, but the toys were basically you had these ships, and they utilized laser tag. Where if you pointed and you hit, it's kind of like playing laser tag. But if you pointed and hit the other person, the cockpit of the ship would blow out
Hmm.
if you hit it. If you hit it the right way. But I can't remember the name of the line or the toy or anything because I remember watching the cartoon of it. Captain Power, that's what it was. Wellbore said Captain Power, that's what it was. I knew it was Captain something. Mike said he loved Brave Star, and Frank's BS says yes, there is, and Ryan Reynolds is going to be relaunching it. So apparently, yes, there was a Biker Mice from Mars, and I forgot that Ryan Reynolds is wanting to relaunch the cartoon. And then Mike mentioned Beetlejuice.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was a Beetlejuice cartoon. I remember that. Oh, and the Street Sharks. Like I said, they're Biker Mice from Mars and Sharks are coming back in 2024. I forgot all about the Street Sharks. And we got to mention Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Everybody watched the Turtles. I mean,
Oh yeah.
but you know what? It wasn't until James Avery passed away that I found out that he was the voice of Shredder. I did not know that Uncle Phil did the voice of Shredder until he passed away.
That's
So I
crazy.
mean, but when you hear that, you're like, oh, I don't know, and then you go back and watch those cartoons, you're like, how the hell did you not realize that?
Yeah. It's crazy. Peter Cullen doing all the voices for Optimus,
Well,
the cartoons and the movies.
Wilbur says that Captain Power was live action, might be a different show. I'll have to Google it because, like I said, I don't. All I remember is I had the good guy ship, my brother had the bad guy ship, and we'd go around trying to do the whole laser tag thing and shoot. I mean, that was, I guess, '80s laser tag before it became a thing. It said Captain Power had live action segments and cartoon parts. Okay, that's what Mike said. And then I don't know much about the Ring Raiders, Frank,
I don't either.
but KBM says he didn't know that. But yeah, of course, watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, most of us probably waited till Friday so we could watch The Legend of Zelda. I was always, for some reason, I always liked that little cartoon of Zelda. I don't know why. Link, and the irony is that Link kind of got on my nerves. But I love the little live action parts of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show because I could not tell you who the guy that played live action Luigi was, but the guy that played live action Mario was Captain Lou Albano, a former WWF wrestler and legend. I mean, anybody that grew up watching '80s wrestling knows about Captain Lou Albano. He was in the music video for Girls Just Want to Have Fun. He played Cyndi Lauper's dad in the music video. Lou was pretty cool, and he was a really awesome wrestling manager as well when he was in WWF. But
Gotcha.
let's see what else we got. Tim says, "I believe Wicket, Ewok who took Leia back to Village and Return Jedi, spoke English in Battle for Endor." I don't remember, dude. Wellbore says they published two. I'm not. Oh, okay. Wellbore says he had two Captain Power comics, and they published two of them. And that number one had two cover variants. Okay, that's what that was. And Mike says that yes, he did speak English in the Ewok movie. And okay, I didn't even know those were on Blu-ray, Mike. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Mike Frank says it was a toy line with little airplanes that would go on little rings. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. And you would act like you're flying around, but I believe they turned into a cartoon for a short time. Okay, that's pretty cool. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Like I said, for every cartoon you think you know, it's always cool to find one that you may not have never heard of.
Yeah.
But he had rubber bands in his ears, huh?
Yep.
But yeah, oh, he says, okay, I'm assuming Mike's talking about the Blu-rays. It says the Mario show has interviews and songs and deleted stuff. I'm gonna have to look those up. Like I said, I didn't know they made Blu-rays for those.
No, I didn't either.
Huh. I'd love to get my hands on the Thundercat set. That thing is pricey. Of course, I
Yeah.
consider $60 pricey. So I mean, but anyway, man, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We're at 57 minutes, and I'm running out
Yep.
of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You got anything coming up you want to talk about, or?
Nothing really. Nothing really.
Well, what I got coming up is tomorrow morning. I'm going to drop it's the last of my birthday AOKs, and I got two in at the same time. I got one in from Brian LCS and one from Dr. Von Hoot's Comics from the Spiral Dimension. So basically, I put them together for one video. I'm going to drop that in the morning. Then, Durs, if you're still in the chat or watching this on replay, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be on your show tomorrow night because at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, me and my daughter and my brother are going to the cinema to watch the 50th anniversary of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. They're putting that on the big screen, so I'm watching that.
Wow. That's going to be sick.
And to finally actually get to see Bruce Lee on the big screen, I couldn't pass it up. It's one day, one time only. So I'm going to be doing that. And then the next episode, I already talked about it briefly, but next Saturday's Comic Spotlight is going to be on All-Star Comics #3, the first appearance of the first superhero team in comics ever that I know of, and that is the Justice Society of America from the 40s.
Nice.
So that'll be pretty cool. And I may do some shorts and stuff like that. And then next week we'll be back next Saturday for Tony's Comic Spotlight. I don't know what the theme's going to be. I know sometime later on, I want to do an episode on Doctor Who. It's going to have to happen sooner or later because I grew up watching the old
Whenever
Doctor Who.
there's yeah. If I see a theme that intrigues me, where it's or just message me.
I will, brother. I will.
Because
And
you follow me on Instagram. I know you do.
Yeah. I usually try to talk about what I'm doing on Instagram and even Facebook as well because Comiverse is a Facebook group as well, and I try to post the links when I can. But as far as other videos, I think that's all I got going on right now. And
yep.
That's all I got, man. I appreciate you hanging out, and
thank you, man.
I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out as well. And anybody watching this on replay, I want to thank y'all as well. Oh, and this is one of the things. This is one of the videos. I got this from Brian LCS. The hashtag the family. That's his private Instagram group for. If you're part of his monthly membership, you get the Instagram chat for the family. So I enjoy being a part of that. We have a lot of fun chatting and talking about crazy stuff. Nice. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a safe night, and we will see you next Saturday for Tony's Into the Comiverse. I get it mixed up. We'll see y'all later.